Today we read from the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 15, verses 21 to 28. If you have read or heard this story before, you've probably puzzled over it. It doesn't seem to show Jesus in a very good light, which is surely unusual for the Gospels, which weren't attempting to be neutral. They were clearly presenting Jesus in the light of faith in the risen Christ, deliberately and avowedly so. But here it looks like Jesus is rude to the woman. More than that, he seems to exhibit attitudes of racial or national superiority, which we might find objectionable. Elsewhere in the New Testament, it seems clear that the gospel has universal reach and appeal. Salvation is for everyone. God has no favourites, as Acts tells us. So how can we make sense of this story about the Canaanite woman and her appeal to Jesus to heal her daughter? First, the language. The term dogs was used at the time of Gentiles by Jews, and although it wasn't polite, it didn't have quite the derogatory overtones that it would today. Secondly, the whole dispute about the relations between Jew and Gentile and how each related to God and to salvation was controversial at the time of writing. Matthew's church, we think, consisted mainly of Christians with a Jewish background, who were used to considering Gentiles far from God as they worshipped the Roman gods or even the emperors. But some Christians, especially Paul and his circle, had recognized that God welcomes Gentiles into the church as equals and without any need to convert to Judaism first. Not all were willing to accept this or to adapt to it quickly. Think of the time it's taken the Anglican Church in Wales and in England to adjust to women priests and bishops. And indeed, there are those who still refuse to recognise these orders. What seems crystal clear and obvious to some appears quite wrong to others in the same faith. So, this narrative may have played a significant part in helping those Jewish Christians to adjust their attitudes towards their Gentile brothers and sisters in the faith. A question they may have asked: how did Jesus regard the extent of his ministry? How did he understand the purpose of his vocation? Answer given here: initially, of course, it was to the covenant people, to the lost sheep of the house of Israel, as he puts it. But from there, his mission widened out to embrace all who came with faith, seeking a genuine connection with the true God. And perhaps this was a struggle even for Jesus at the human level. Even his vision broadened out, his horizons opened, as he encountered Gentiles like this woman, who clearly had a genuine trust in God. She was in no doubt that he could heal her daughter, and was determined to make him listen, even to the extent of taking the slang term for a Gentile and turning it into a joke. Sure, the children get to eat first, but even the dogs can lick up the crumbs from under the table. I think Jesus must have laughed, and perhaps admiringly replied, "Woman, your faith is impressive. You shall have what you ask." Not so much changing his mind as growing in his understanding, and with the help of the last type of person you might expect. No learned rabbi, but a Gentile woman. That shows a remarkable level of humility and readiness to reconsider a long-held and precious view. What an example to us, to encourage us to re-examine our views and consider whether any of them might, after all, be prejudices that we would be better off without.